Guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys checking out today's video and spending some time with me. And guys, I have got like the ultimate limit getter that I'm gonna show you all today. If you guys want to catch a limit of fish quicker than anything this time of year, really between March, April, and May, I'm gonna show you what I call the squid rig. How to rig it, where to fish it at, how to set it up and everything. And guys, this will get you a bunch of bites, so we're gonna get into that in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping tips here. Just want to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. It's free and easy to do so. We've really been pushing hard to try to reach that 150,000 subscriber threshold, so much appreciated there. And also, guys, anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, all you have to do is go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and just shoot me a private message there, and I'll get you all the details for that. Okay guys, the bait that I'm gonna show you guys here today, I have been fishing this for years back in the Ozarks. This is sort of the staple for here in my part of the country. And I call it the squid rig. I just sort of coined it myself. Very simple. I'm gonna show you guys how to rig it up and how to set it up, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about how to fish it. So let's get into what you need here and how to set it up, guys. Okay, first of all, what you need is, this is the best head for it. This is the Megabass Okashira 1/8 ounce head is what you want, guys. And I'll link this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description. This head right here is perfect for it. It's a fish head design. It's got a nano coated, just a super sharp, little about a 1/0 hook there. It's got a really nice keeper on it here. Just a super jig head. All you need is the Okashira jig head and a pack of the Zoom finesse worms here. Okay, so the first thing you do is take the finesse worm, and you're gonna come in right behind the egg sac there. See the egg sac right there? We're gonna come in probably about 1/4 of an inch below the egg sac and just cut it off. So it's just a little bit of tidbit here. Now this is similar. A lot of guys are gonna say this is like a Ned rig, but this is not the same thing as a Ned rig. The presentation's different. So just be real careful. You wanna get it on nice and straight. The jig head setup on this, a little bit heavier jig head, along with the smaller diameter plastic worm, is the key on this thing here that you want. Get it on straight like that, and that's how it's going to look. Just a nice little diminutive little worm on there. But the thing you have to do, you got two different things here to top it off. Next thing you want to do is get you some fingernail polish, some red fingernail polish, and you can do this beforehand if you want to. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. I'll usually paint them up, let them dry before I get the thing on there. But the Megabass, they don't come in the red here, and I do like the red for any type of a worm that I'm fishing on. If I'm fishing a swim bait on this head, which this is my main swim bait head, I'll leave it like a shad pattern. But I want this head to be red on it. One thing you're gonna find, guys, about fishing this, any type of like a small diminutive bait, a red head really works good on it. Red really complements the green pumpkin on there. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is, should have got my stuff out here. I'm gonna get some dye. We're gonna dye the tail of this thing, and show you guys the difference that it looks on here. Now, this is one of the things you got to realize about that. This is a clear water technique. So all this attention to detail that we're putting on this worm is very important. So I got a bottle of the chartreuse spigot here. Going to come in and dip just probably about 1/2 of an inch in it, just like that. We got just a little bit of color. And guys, even in the clear water situation, just a little bit of chartreuse on the tail like that, it seems like to me it makes a difference, even in clear water. But that's the setup right there. That's what I call the squid rig. Just a downsized, diminutive, probably 2.5 inch bait. Very simple. Now, here's the thing about it, guys. Even though this thing looks simple and it's been around for a long time, there's something about this presentation with the diameter of this particular worm in correlation with the 1/8 ounce head on here. They just freaking eat this thing like candy in the right situations, which we're going to talk about now. Okay, so let's talk about where you want to fish this and the situations that's going to get you a really quick limit. This is a springtime lure, and it's a springtime clear water lure. So for my purposes, when I'm fishing the squid rig here, I want at least 4 foot of water clarity. So if you're a lake that I mean, it could possibly work in like 3.5 or 4, but for the most part, you got to have clear water. Clear water is the key on this because it's a finessey sight bait. And the other thing that's going to help it out a lot is if you have a lake that has a lot of spotted bass in it. You know, if you, all you guys that fish some of those, like the Ozark lakes here, Lake Lanier in Georgia, Lake Norman in North Carolina, any lake that has a lot of spotted bass in it, this is a spotted bass killer. You know, Lake Martin in Alabama, all the Coosa River lakes, this is going to be perfect for that. So any type of a lake that has a mixed species like largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass, in the clear water situation, this is going to be a real key deal for that. This is the lakes that have a mixed species are the lakes that you're going to have 50 fish days on this thing, which is pretty common in the springtime. Okay, the next situation is when to fish it and all the other things around it, where you want to fish it at. I have found out that this bait works best when that water temperature is between, like, say 55 and 70 degrees. So for the most part, it's going to be mid-March to possibly into mid-May, early May. Perfect scenario for this is right around the time the bass are spawning, or either side of the spawn, pre-spawn, maybe a little bit of post-spawn, just any time those fish are spawning in clear water, that's going to be the best scenario for this. And the place that you want to fish the little squid rig, guys, is number one on any type of secondary point in and around a spawning type area. So if you've got some good spawning coves, or maybe you have a spawning cove that has a little secondary point in it, high percentage areas. And normally these fish, even though the bass are going to be spawning, or a lot of the bass are going to be spawning during this period, a lot of these fish that I'm catching on the squid rig are a little bit deeper. So if the water visibility is over 4 foot, I'll fish the thing down in between 10 to 20 foot deep, because a lot of those spotted bass will bed down in 10 foot of water. So secondary points are going to be really, really good. Also, anywhere where you think the bass are getting ready to spawn at. The flatter spawning type coves, simply cast the squid rig out in 5 to 10 foot of water in those areas. It's a good way to catch them. And also, if you have a lake that has clear water bluff banks, perfect example would be like the lower end of Lake Cumberland, some of the lower end of the Ozark lakes here. Casting this thing on bluff banks on lakes that have a big spotted bass population will definitely get you a quick limit with that. But this is the deal, guys. When I tell you the perfect scenario, it's like, say for example, the bass in your lake spawn when the water's 60 degrees. Right before the bass get on the nest. So if that water temperature is like in the upper 50s, and you may even see some spotty bass trying to, maybe they're starting to build beds, but it's a little bit soon, that is the perfect time for the squid rig, guys. Right before the fish go in the beds is when they bite this thing the best, especially on those secondary points and bluff banks. And most of the time, guys, you don't want to use anything over 6 pound test. I use it on 6 pound test, Seagarn Vizex line, Megabass Addermine spinning rod, and just fish it in those areas, guys. And any place that you would fish, like a shaky head or a Ned rig, any other type of bottom baits, this little thing, that just the presentation of it's different. It's different than a shaky head. It's different than a Ned rig. There's something unique about this thing that the bass just really like. It'll get you a quick limit if you have those right conditions for that. And most of the time I go with green pumpkin, but sometimes I'll use some other variations like watermelon or watermelon candy. But one of the big things, guys, is always make sure that you put a little puff of chartreuse on that tail. Even in the clear water, that seems to make a difference. And along with the red head on the jig head there. So anyway, guys, wanted to pass that along with you guys. You know, if you're struggling to get bites, just put you on one of those little rigs there and you'll get some bites on it. So we'll talk later.